Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Yani Novitasari. My NPM 210400034. I will present the result my seminar proposal. The title is 20th Century Skill and Learning Environment ELT Students Perception. So before that, I would like to say thank you to Miss Lily who has given me the opportunity to the present today. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first, Chapter 1, Background of the Study. The authors call so because 20th century innovation enables student-centered learning on the unprecedented scale. At the same time, this advance creates and demands the make student-centered approaches even more necessary. By examining the perception of ELT students, this research seeks to gain insight into how they learn, preserve the relevance and effectiveness of the 20th century skill and their language learning experience, and how this skill can be nurtured and integrated in their learning environment. This research intends to contribute to the understanding of student perspective on the importance of 20th century skill in ELT, provide valuable insight of educators and the policy makers in designing effective teaching approaches that align with the needs and experiences of ELT students in the contemporary educational landscape. Next, identification of the problem. Based on the background of the problem above, the writer identified the problem or how identify the essential 20th century skill as the provided by ELT students and understanding how this skill can be developed through engaging and dynamic learning environments. Next, identification of the problem. The problem, a limitation in this research that the researchers want to discuss is 20th century skill, perception of ELT students, and learning environments. Next, focus of the research. The study aimed to explore ELT student perception of 20th century skill and learning environment. Next, ELT students believe this 20th century skill can be developed through engaging and dynamic learning environments that incorporate technology, project-based learning, and real-world application. And the last one, the study provides insight into ELT student perception of 20th century skill and learning environments, which can inform the design of ELT curricula and the development of teaching practices. And next, research question. The first one, what are ELT, English language teaching, student perception of 20th century skills? And next, what 20th century skill do ELT students consider important? Next, significance of the research. They have two. The first one from the research. The researchers give information about 20th century learning skill and environment on the perception of high school students. B. From the readers can know about perception of high school students in 20th century learning and environment. Next, definition K term. Student perception can encompass a wide range of topics, attitudes, and experience. Education in one sector that emphasizes the need to understand 20th century skills. Next, Chapter 2, Theoretical Review. The first one, defining 20th century skill. Next, skill and for foreign language like critical thinking, problem solving, communication, collaborative and innovate. And next, traditional classroom setting. And then previous studies on the student perception of the 20th century skill and learning. Next, review of related finding. The first one, defining 20th century skill. Defining 20th century skill involves identify the skill, abilities, and learning dispositions that are considered essential for success in the modern world. These skills are not limited to specific subjects or disciplines, but rather a set of competencies that can be applied across various contexts, including education, career, and civic life. The then 20th century skill encompasses a broad range of knowledge, skill, work, habits, and character traits that they believe to be crucial for students to thrive in the today's fast-paced and technology-driven society. And next, one of the learning theories that can be used as a basic framework in implementing 20th century skill is cognitive learning theory. Cognitive learning theory is learning theory that emphasizes that learning process rather than learning outcomes. According to the School of the Cognitive Learning, does not simply involve the relationship between stimulus and the response as the theory of behavior. More than the learning with the theory of the cognitive involves a very complex thinking process. Nugroho 2015. Researchers will be see how student perception to 20th century skill and get the result of the extensions of the 20th century skill on English language teaching at the SMAN 1 2 kali 11 6 lingkung. Next, skill and for foreign language skill. The first one, critical thinking. Critical thinking is a scope of various complex skills related to the higher level of the thinking. It is a self-direct thinking that procedures new and innovative ideas and solve problems. It assumes reflecting critically on learning experiences and the process and making effective decisions by avoiding common pitfalls. For the example, seeing only one side of issue, discounting new it finds this confirms your idea, reasoning from the patient rather than logic, and failing to the super statement with the evidence. Next, the author will see whether the existence of the 20th century skill related to the critical thinking will affect the learning outcome of SMAN 1 2 kali 11 6 lingkung students. What are their perception of the critical as the now? What kind of the critical thinking student expect to develop student abilities in the field of the English language teaching? And then, therefore, there is a need for the proper explanation of critical thinking. So, that student can practice and prepare a quality 20th century generation. Problem solving. Problem solving is a mental process involving the ability to analyze and find the solution that best resolves the problem. It describes the process where there is a goal that is blocked for any reason, lack of research, lack of information, and so on that present a problem. The authors expect SMAN 1 2 kali 11 6 lingkung student to use critical and creative thinking solve problem. The activities in this section focus on learning how to solve problems in different ways in the school and learning environment. Participants will hear about how correctly differentiate criticism, praise, and feedback and react appropriately. This section will also review strategies for the making axial decisions, solving problems with the peers, teachers, and with others, and learning how to consider the perception of the others when assessing action or statement in the school and learning environment. Communication. Communication skill as one of the skills of the 20th century are the ability to communicate various things related to learning material, both orally and in writing so that students can provide response, experience their ideas and opinions. EF, EFL programs are the ideal setting for the improving student communication skill as one of the primary objectives of learning a foreign language is to be able to communicate in the language effectively. The author will look at the 20th century skill in communication section of student of SMAN 1 2 kali 11 6 and student perception of the importance of the communication to the needs of students in 20th century. In addition, the author will look at the involvement of the technology to student communication skill that teachers use achieving quality 20th century skill for learners. Next, collaborative and innovative. Collaboration in 20th century refers to the ability to work actively with the others in both physical and virtual environments to achieve a common goal. It involves skills such as communication, problem solving, negotiation, and an ability to utilize technology in the collaborative process. So the author will see collaboration exercise helps to them learn how to analyze a problem, present solution, and determine the best course of the action. They learn the value of understanding that not everyone share their views. Innovate student over innovate learning methods that can help students improve their understanding of a subject matter, giving them confidence and skill needed to their understanding of subject matter, achieve better result and holistic self-development. Besides this, the innovative learning is also the key in 2nd century. In realizing innovative learning, there is a need for the learning models, learning media, and most importantly, learning strategies. An example of innovative learning model that can be applied is flight classroom. In the flight classroom model, students will learn the material before attending class through at the learning video provided by teacher. So the author what kind of innovation achieved by SMAN 1 2 kali 11 6 student for 20th century skills. Next, traditional classroom setting. Traditional classroom setting refers to the method of learning that takes place in physical classroom setting where learners attend in-person lectures and they interact with the instructor and priest face-to-face. This approach to learning has been used for centuries and involves a sector curriculum with set course schedule, and deadlines. Traditional classroom learning provides structure and in-service learning experiences for learners, allowing them to be engaging with the instructor and the parents in person. This approach can enhance the learning process through real-time feedback and collaboration, as learners can ask questions and receive immediate responses from the instructor. Traditional classroom learning also provides opportunities for the hands-on learning, such as lab or group projects that might be difficult to be replicated in an online or asynchronous learning environment. Next, preview student on student perception of 20th century skill and learning. Theories 20th century learning highlight the importance of self-assessment and reflection for students to develop metacognitive skill and awareness of their own strengths and areas for improvement. Brackley et al. 2012. Studies have explored student abilities to self-assess their 20th century skill and the role of feedback and support in this process. In addition, students also highly related collaboration and communication skill. Finally, students also related the leadership skill and responsibility as important. They understand that developing the ability to the lead projects, make decisions, and make meaningful contribution will help them prepare for future challenges. They realize that the skill or critical collaboration, digital literacy, creativity, leadership, and responsibility will be key to their success in facing future challenges. With this strong understanding, students can take strategic steps to develop themselves and prepare themselves to be the next generation ready for the 20th century. Next, conceptual framework. They have two 20th century skill, critical thinking problem, communication, collaboration and innovation. And next, traditional classroom setting to the student perceptions. Okay, chapter 3, research method. The first one, research design. The study uses qualitative research methods. Qualitative is an approach in conducting research that is oriented towards natural phenomena or symptoms. Meanwhile, the method of research used in this study is narrative inquiry research. The reason researchers use qualitative research and the narrative inquiry method is because researchers want to know the student perception of 20th century skill and learning environment located at the SMAN 12 kali 11 6 Lingkung. Next, data collection. The emphasis in ensuring accurate the honest data collection. Researchers conduct the data collection techniques using interview techniques and interviews with 11 grade social studies, 2 students at SMAN 12 kali 11 6 Lingkung. In this case, the researchers use interview to collect information from the respondents through verbal interaction. However, beforehand, the researchers must also prepare structured questions related to their research by paying attention to the following indicators. Next instrument, the research by paying attention to the following indicators. The first one, section 20th century skill assessment. These are critical thinking and problem solving skill, communication, and then collaborative and innovative. Section 2, learning environment assessment. Digital literacy skill, creativity and innovation, leadership and responsibility. The step of data analysis according to Mills and Hamberman. The first one, data reduction. Data reduction means summarizing, selecting the main things, focusing on the important things in to look them and the patterns. Thus, the data has been reduced with the provide a clearer picture and make easier for the researchers to collect data, grouping researchers the data that are related to each other. The grouped data is data that explain the relationality of the famous switching communities. Next, data display. Presentation of data. The next step after reducing the data is to present the data. Presentation of data is the study is with the narrative text located in chapter 4 discussion. By presenting data using narrative text aims to facilitate researchers in describing the result of the study. And the last one, conclusion drawing. Verification. Next is conclusion drawing and verification. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you for your attention and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.